Hey, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to do a mini synopsis of David Glantz's article, Viral Video Gone Bad, Coney 2012 and the Perils of Social Media. Sort of the larger point I want to get across is that manipulating sentiment through social networks is next to impossible. A couple examples of this idea of that manipulating sentiment through social networks is next to impossible. So look at two campaigns that came out around the same time that Coney became so popular, the Coney 2012 film. One's McDonald's McD Stories campaign, where the corporate giant was trying to foster shared fond memories of McDonald's, but unfortunately responses quickly became abusive and negative. And Qantas's luxury campaign that made the same type of mistakes with the ill-fated Qantas luxury hashtag. And you know these days when air travel can be problematic post-COVID, you can see how it can be difficult to give a great hashtag for a big airplane company. So the Coney 2012 film is a sort of an example of a media entity that both benefited but also was penalized by the virality of social media. The film's focus was to raise awareness about the use of children in the Lord's Resistance Army guerrilla group and advocated for the arrest of the group's leader, Joseph Kony. It had viral growth via social media. Coney 2012 and the director Jason Russell intended to use social media to propel the campaign like most people do for films these days. They used Twitter and YouTube as platforms, and traffic from both of these platforms showed that Invisible Children, the charity behind the Coney 2012 film, used social networks to drive attention growth to the film, which again is very typical these days. There was the idea of virality that comes from that, and how this is an example of how media and marketing are obsessed with the idea of virality. Arianna Huffington, who's the co-founder of the HuffPost, has this idea on virality. She states that when something attains virality, when it's massively popular and widely shareable, this can signify a positive or negative outcome. It often signifies both, depending on the audience and the time. For example, for every celebrity that endorsed Coney 2012, there seemed to be someone who was also publishing some kind of criticism. For example, Invisible Children, the charity, it became visible. The Coney 2012 campaign turned the spotlight onto Invisible Children and the problem of the children in Uganda. The charity Invisible Children itself and Russell, the director, were forced to defend not only the movie Coney 2012, but their operations and past record. So again, the charity Invisible Children was criticized. Most damning of the online criticisms were criticisms of invisible children made by Ugandans and former Invisible Children themselves. And because of this, Coney 2012 bracelets and t-shirts became signifiers of a U.S. Christian organization that did not have the support of the people they were allegedly trying to help, which made Invisible Children look bad than it would have liked. Also, the Ugandan Prime Minister Mbabazi, he even created his own video to refute the allegations made in the Coney 2012 film. He invited celebrities who promoted Coney 2012, such as Rihanna, Bill Gates, Kim Kardashian, to come to Uganda and see the situation for themselves, to again show that the film is not entirely accurate. As a result, although Coney 2012 became quite big at the time, it added some cost to this virality. So while the well-intentioned plan behind it, it ended with a couple of big costs. For example, the Coney 2012's central message about Joseph Kony, that got lost. The Invisible Children charity, that lost its credibility. The director of Coney 2012, Jason Russell, he suffered a breakdown and had a personal incident that went viral. And finally, Russell's own son, Gavin Danger, was the center of Coney 2012 with no say. And so as a result of that, he'll have to deal with the impact of that for the rest of his life. Final lessons from the movie. The Coney 2012 debacle reminds us that we are still learning what it means to be connected on a global scale, and grossly oversimplifying the ways social networks function, like in the Coney 2012 example, it leads to unpredictable results that are often damaging. So that was a discussion of, and a synopsis of, the article by David Glantz titled Viral Video Gone Bad, Kony 2012, and the perils of social media. Again, please remember the idea that manipulating sentiment through social networks is next to impossible. Thanks for watching. Take care. I look forward to seeing you again soon.